What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Tides, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, let's talk about the upcoming Town Hall. Now, I'm recording this a day before, and it's my usual three biggest questions that we have for the Town Hall, right? This is going to be for September of 2025. If you remember, August Town Hall was phenomenal. I came out of there being super hyped about a lot of the things that the team was working on, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So let's just dive in. My questions are probably a little bit out there, so I'll be very curious to see what your guys' questions are in the comments, but let me share mine with you now. So the first is the SPS reward extension. There's been a lot of back and forth. There's been proposals. There's one currently active right now to extend the rewards about 3 years and, use the leftover LP rewards to put into specific buckets. Again, it looks like that is going to pass. It's gotten a lot of support from top stakeholders. And the thing is, it's just very different from what Matt and Dave were talking about on the Down Hall. Now, the thing is, Matt and Dave already gave their ideas and thoughts, right, on the Down Hall. But the Down Hall isn't as well attended as the Town Hall. And there's like a different audience there, right? It's people who are very specifically looking at what SPS is. And I mean, it's the appropriate venue. But I would love to get kind of an updated thought on them of this current proposal. And like I said, I just want to understand the thought process behind it. If it's something that, maybe they're lukewarm about, but it's like other stakeholders are like, no, we got to do it this way. Because keep in mind, the DAO and the SPS rewards are separate from this, right? Like, we get to choose as SPS stakeholders, we get to choose how much we put rewards into the game, right? And so that's going to be a big question for me. I hope the team will address it. If anything, just to recap the fact that they did have a Down Hall last week, and to let people know, like, hey, this stuff is currently being talked about, and then if they can give any updated thoughts. That's really what I'm hoping will be addressed at some point during the Town Hall this week. So that's number one, and I guess it's number one just because it's front of mind. These aren't in any particular order. Number two is what to expect in Q4. So I know the team hasn't done roadmaps in a while. I'm not really asking for one, even though I wrote it here. Just it's more so we got a lot of really cool ideas that the team is working on, and again, a lot of the stuff is stuff that they were working on before the end of the year that they were trying to get into. And so here we are now in mid-September. We've gotten the third airdrop, right? Calamity. We have not. I don't think we've gotten the new, what's that called? The new voucher promo card. I don't think I've even seen anything about that yet. So that should be something that's coming this month. There's the upcoming reward cards for Conclave Arcana, right? There's the mini set for Conclave Arcana. There's land and Cinder and all that stuff. There's guild things that they want to rework. Although I don't know if that's going to be this year. Although if Matt can share whatever timing he can for that. And then some of the other stuff that they were talking about, right? Whether it's not glint, but glamour is the word that I'm thinking of. So I'm just trying to get a better idea because we got all this stuff. It's super exciting. And I think we know when to expect at least some of it. Like, my expectations, we're probably going to see the reward cards next month. We should see the voucher promo card this month, right? Just based on previous timings. But then beyond that, I don't really know what and when to expect things. So that being said, I hope the team's able to kind of share that framework. And again, with the understanding that we know this stuff isn't perfect and sometimes there's delays and all that, but the team's been knocking it out, like literally firing on all cylinders all year, dropping stuff without any expectation from the community. And so, again, this is not to put them in a gotcha kind of situation, but I'm just curious. We heard so much cool stuff, and then it's like radio silence for a month. And I don't mean that in the sense like the team was like, actually being radio silent for the sake of being radio silent. They've actually been very, dropping some other interesting things. Obviously, we've had the SPS discussion, right? The reward extension discussion, but all the stuff that they had on the roadmap, I shouldn't say roadmap, but all the stuff that they announced, I would love to get an idea of how all of it is progressing. I don't know, is the best way I can put it, and maybe what expectations are for what the team is hoping to get out before the end of the year. Because at least here in the U.S., the last 6 weeks of the year, the second half of November into December and beyond, like, that's all just like holidays, and it's really tough. And I know that most of the employees, I think, are U.S. based, right? So. And even if they're not, right, these are just holidays that people might be celebrating all around the world. So my hope is that. Well, it's not a hope. The team has always delivered stuff in November and December in the past. So I'm not too worried about that. But I guess I'm just curious. I want to get an idea. I'm excited. I want to see when all this stuff is going to drop, especially the land stuff. As now I'm focused, heavily on land, or starting to focus heavily on land. So that's number two. Number three. This is the one that's super out there. But as somebody who's following more of the macro, more of Bitcoin, more of just everything that's going on, there is a lot of chatter, which I'll tell you right now, none of this financial advice, and I don't even necessarily buy into it. In fact, I think we're still in for a very interesting bull run, if you want to call it that. But many people are wondering, like, is this the top, right? Have we gotten to the point where I know they just literally earlier today started cutting interest rates again. So my whole point with this is it's more so a hypothetical. If this were the top, we were to go into another like multi-year bear market. I'm actually curious to see how the team is doing right now, what their game plan for that is. They got a pretty big, injection of funds with both the mini set proposal as well as obviously Conclave Arcana and all the sales there. I don't know that that's enough to sustain them for, several years. And as we move forward, especially, we'll have to see how this mini set does. So again, this isn't like a runway check. I'm not really worried about, the team in terms of how they're doing financially. It's more so like, if this was the top, we know that Matt is trying to be much more conservative, right, in his approach with the finances for the team, but just overall, like how the company and the game are expanding. So I guess it's more so of a hypothetical thought, even though there's a lot of chatter around it that, again, I don't buy into. But if this were the top, like what does this look like? What is the next 2 years or the next 3 years of Splinterlands looks like if we were to just like chop or even go down, right? Bitcoin does like a 30, 40, 50% drop. Again, I'm not going to be someone that says like we're out of the 4-year cycle or this time is different. I have no idea what to expect. Obviously, institutional adoption for Bitcoin is here. You're seeing crypto and ETH and all this pump. So my personal expectation is that I don't know that I want to say like this time is different, but it does feel as though the cycle is somewhat extended and that the cycle has been somewhat smushed down and elongated just due to a lot of factors, right? So, for example, like the tariffs earlier this year, the geopolitical instability, right? There's a lot of things, and only now we're getting like this rate cut in September of 2025, which could lead to an interesting next 3 to 6 months, right? If they continue to push more liquidity into the space. But again, I'm getting kind of off topic here. My whole point was, let's say this were the top, right? And maybe there is no like 80% drawdown, and it's because we didn't have a euphoric bull top. We don't get a massive bear drop. What if it's just the top and like we just kind of like chop around here, or have like 20-30% drop over the next couple of years? So there's no like euphoria. There's no people, mass coming in. There's no mass wave of players. There's no money and crazy liquidity. That's where my thoughts have been lately, right? Just and that's been around like just Bitcoin in general, right? For me, but I'm obviously kind of extending this now downwards into the Splinterlands space and wondering what this would look like for Splinterlands. So those are my top 3 biggest questions. Let me know yours in the comments below. I'm sure there's a lot of other things happening out there in the ecosystem that people are curious about. So I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. But that is all I have. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.